Hello everybody, I'm Nadine from Nakawanga Cosplay, and today I'm going to show you how I made this little fella called Headpool. It was my very first foam smithing project, and I chose Headpool because he is a dirty boy that wouldn't have to be too perfect when it comes to invisible seams or a clean surface. Also, it gave me the opportunity to not only work with EVA foam, but also do some sculpting with foam clay. So, let's get started. For the base, I made a skull using a skull pattern by Cosplay. You can find the link to this pattern in the video description below if you want to buy her books. If you have ever seen a foam smithing tutorial before, you know the routine, so I'm gonna keep this short. I printed out the pattern, traced it on 5mm EVA foam, cut it out, dremelled the edges, glued it together with contact cement, dremelled the seams and filled the gaps with quick seal. Next step was sculpting the face. I applied foam clay to the base and just kept sculpting until I liked the result. I had no idea what I was doing because I'm not too familiar with sculpting. So please don't ask me how I got this result. Foam clay is a really great material. It's like modeling clay, but when it's dry, it's foam that you can sand or heat foam if needed. Also, it sticks to other foam or other materials without glue. Just add some drops of water and you are good. So, when the face was ready, I let it dry for like 2 or 3 days to make sure the foam clay is really cured. Then I primed the whole head with Flex Bond. Next step, the paint job. I mixed acrylic colors and then thinned it with airbrush thinner. Of course, you can also buy airbrush colors, but this is a much cheaper option and you can mix all the colors you need. So I started with a bright eggshell-like color for the base and then added some darker shades with a more brownish sand color. Then I added some dark brown and black for the inner areas. When everything was done and perfectly dry, I added some Lucas Sprühfilm Matte as a finish. After this was perfectly dry too, I applied some dark brown oil color and then swiped it off with a clean sheet again. This is a common technique for weathering objects. The color sticks in some deeper areas and scratches. Also, the whole surface gets a more bony look and looks more realistic. The result looked pretty cool, but let me add that I will go with acrylic colors for this technique next time, because the oil colors took like 2 weeks before they were really dry and the head was ready for his final spray coat. Especially all the little spots in the nose and the eyes took forever to dry. Speaking of eyes, I made those with foam clay too. I formed 2 little foam balls and then pressed some glass eyes into them. Later I primed them and added some details with acrylic color. After the head was done, it was time to make the helmet. I made half a helmet with plastic wrap and duct tape on the head and then scribbled my pattern onto it. Then I traced that to foam, cut it out and glued it together. Et voila! I also made that little chin thing that keeps the helmet on the head. Oh, by the way, the Deadpool mask is something I had made last year. It was one of my first tries and I wasn't really satisfied with her look, so I sacrificed her for this project and ripped her apart.
Oh no.
Next step, the Rotor. I actually made that with a flying ball from Amazon. I didn't like the rotor blades though. So I took them off of one of those flying disc toys from the 99-cent shop. They were made of plastic, so I had to use a special plastic primer on them. After I primed also the head, I used my airbrush to color everything with Alclad 2 steel. To make it even more shiny, I also added some rub and buff. For Headpool, this all looked too shiny though. So now came my favorite part, the weathering. I added a lot of brown and greenish color to the helmet and tried to create a rusty vintage look. Don't ask me how I did this though, I just went with my gut feeling here and made a real mess. The result was pretty cool though and looked like something that has seen many battles. Oh, by the way, I added all this battle damage with a Dremel to the foam before I primed it. Now for the last steps. I took some old dog leash to create a chin strap and attached it to the helmet with hot glue. I placed the flying ball into a foam block and sticked it inside the head. To secure it inside, I could have used hot glue or PU foam, but since this is always a mess and I hate it, I used foam clay to fill the gaps and fix it inside. And that's about it. My very first foam project is done. It was a lot of fun and I really learned a lot from it. Now I feel ready for some armor making. Yeah! By the way, you can find all the materials I used in the video description, so check it out. If you liked my video, please don't forget to give a thumbs up and maybe leave a comment. And if you are totally crazy, you can even subscribe to my channel. Whoop whoop! Goodbye and thanks for watching.